Are Chelsea really about to win a trophy this year? But what is Barcelona doing? Neymar will officially miss Copa America. And today, U.S. Soccer announced that MLS clubs will have to play in the U.S. Open Cup. The NBA scriptwriters were working overtime last night. Welcome back to the crossover, Wednesday, December 20th. And back in 1803, on December 20th, is actually the day that the United States completed the Louisiana Purchase from the French, giving us Louisiana, a whole bunch of other states. Why does it matter? It doesn't, but we're an educational program here. The more you know. You didn't know, now you know. Let's get into some of the headlines. Are Chelsea really about to win a trophy this year? Certainly it cannot be. Not Chelsea, not the team that has been the laughingstock of the Premier League and football as a whole for the past 2 years, the butt of every joke. They certainly can't win a trophy this year, or can they? As last night in London, they got one step closer to holding that prestigious Carabao Cup and finally etching their name back into football glory when they took on Newcastle. And it was kind of an interesting game here. I mean, 1-1 after 90 minutes. Both goals coming off of terrible mistakes by defenders. One on each side. Badiashile, I mean, they lose the ball in the midfield. The ball's coming back. Callum Wilson getting in between Thiago Silva and Badiashile. Thiago Silva gets beat, but then it seems like Badiashile clearly is going to have that ball. I don't know what he did. He stepped with the right and the left came out. He got his feet crisscrossed. The ball gets through. Callum Wilson buries it to get Newcastle the 1-0 lead. So terrible mistake there to start off the game. And then it was all Chelsea from there. It was all Chelsea. I mean, in my opinion, Chelsea definitely deserved to win this game. Dominated every single stat. And then in the 92nd minute, oh so close to closing this out for Newcastle and possibly getting themselves into that semifinal of the Carabao Cup. And Trippier tries to head a ball back to the goalie. Not enough pace on it. Mudryk is lurking from behind, pounces on the opportunity and buries it to tie the game 1-1 and send it into penalties, where Trippier's night would just get worse as he steps up to take the pen. Everything tied up. Doesn't even. Sends it wide. Trippier misses the pen. Chelsea converts. Newcastle step back up, and probably the best PK save that I have seen in a while. Petrovic absolutely making a name for himself. I think he should be the starting goalkeeper from here till the end of the year for Chelsea. One of the best saves. He saves it, and Chelsea win and are on to the semifinal of the Carabao Cup. Let's give him a round of applause here. A couple massive news that came out of this game. Nkunku finally back for Chelsea, and I'm so happy for it. Obviously, you guys know that I have a liking to Chelsea. I wouldn't say I'm a fan of Benfica, as always. I've also always liked Nkunku, so seeing him get back into the lineup. Obviously, he didn't start. He's going to need some time here to get himself accustomed, to get himself back into the rhythm of play. Coming off of the bench, I don't think he didn't shine, but he also didn't look bad. So good to see him back out there. Nkunku, wishing for the best. A little bit of a negative piece of news. Enzo Fernandez coming off in the 32nd minute. There's a lot of speculation about whether he was injured. He was obviously in tears, obviously emotional at the end of the game. Pochettino came out, said, hey guys, there's no injury. He was sick before the game. He tried to go out there, try to give it, see how much he can give, see if he could do it. But ultimately, in the 32nd minute, he just felt so sick that he had to come off. So good news if there is no injury. I saw some speculation that he has some hernia. We're going to hope for the best. We're going to hope not. We're going to hope that that Enzo can come back quickly for Chelsea. And Chelsea, once again, round of applause. We've also had some other games in the Carabao Cup. Fulham beat Everton on pens in a 1-1 game. Everton scoring an own goal in the 41st minute, and then Betu coming out late in the 82nd minute, tying up the game. So we got another late drama there to get the equalizer. Then on the fourth pen for Fulham, Pickford comes up huge, makes a massive save, and it seems like Everton has got it all figured out. It seems like Everton is going to be able to go through. Everton is going to be able to beat Fulham. But the very next pen, we went from the best penalty save by Petrovic to probably one of the worst penalty takes that I have seen. I don't even remember the guy's name, but Leno comes up huge, makes the save, ties it back up, and then Everton again on the front foot. Fulham comes in, scores, ties. Ghi, however you say it, comes up, hits the post, and it would be the last straw there for Everton. But then it seemed like Pickford goes the right way, hits his hand, gets right under his hand. Tosin sneaks it under Pickford to secure the win for Fulham. So Fulham also through into the semifinals. Then another game that was going on that I didn't really pay attention to. I don't really know either team. Middlesbrough, quick work of Port Vale, 3-0. So Middlesbrough also through. And tonight we've got the final game of these quarterfinals. Liverpool versus West Ham at Anfield. I think it'll be a really good game. I think West Ham will give a good fight. However, I do believe that Liverpool is going to be able to go through, which means that the winner of Liverpool and West Ham gets Fulham. And Chelsea has now got a date with Middlesbrough. And barring some massive meltdown by Chelsea, barring some unexplainable play by Chelsea, Chelsea is seemingly in the final of the Carabao Cup. Now, again, you cannot overlook Middlesbrough. I get that. Chelsea still got to go out and perform. I get that. But barring all else, we're going to see Chelsea in the final. And I'm assuming between Liverpool and Fulham, Liverpool will get to the final. I feel like if West Ham can beat Liverpool, maybe they can beat Fulham as well, and they'll be able to get into a final. But it's been some tough times here for Chelsea. It's been a lot of back and forth. It's been a lot of negativity around Chelsea. So I'm happy for Chelsea. I'm happy that they're coming back. I'm happy that hopefully this Carabao Cup could spark something in them. I believe that they're like 11 or 12 points right now out of a European spot in the Premier League. So maybe this can motivate them. This can bring them up, and hopefully we can see Chelsea back in Europe next year. But if nothing else, we'll win a Carabao Cup. Let's go turn some things around. And speaking of turning things around, we've got another club who is trying to turn things around, but I've got no idea. I have never seen this before. I don't know if this has ever happened before. I don't know what is going on with this, but what is Barcelona doing? So today, right now, Barcelona is playing, I believe it's Almeria, in the league. And tomorrow, they're scheduled to play a friendly in Dallas, Texas, in the United States against Club America. I have never seen a friendly being scheduled in the middle of the season, let alone on back-to-back nights, let alone on another continent across the ocean against a team that you probably have no reason playing. Now, I get it. Club America, one of the biggest clubs in Mexico. Barcelona, one of the biggest clubs in Spain. It makes sense. It makes sense if it's the preseason. It makes sense if it's, let's say, if there's an international break and the guys who don't go on international break, you want to keep them active. But to schedule it on back-to-back nights, which means that tonight, Barcelona players are going to play a game, and then they're going to have to go straight to the airport to get on an 8-hour flight, 9-hour flight to Dallas, Texas, to play a game that at local time in Barcelona is going to be played at 3 a.m. Now, everybody who's ever traveled know what jet lag feels like. You know that you're just not there. And the fact that you're going to have to play this game tonight, it's probably going to end, I think it's an early game. So it's a 1 p.m. start here, which means it'll be a 7 o'clock game there. Ends at 10 p.m., let's say. You get to the airport. It's like midnight, 11 p.m., midnight. You come all the way to Texas. And then the next day, 3 a.m., you've got to play a game. Absolutely just terrible planning by Barcelona. I think this is for a charity, but also there was some talks of Barcelona is doing this because they need to make money. They're trying to make some money. Players were upset about it, so the club said, hey, we'll give you guys a bonus. I forget how much that bonus was. Each player is going to be getting a bonus. And then we've also got some other news talking about how Barcelona players can't even shower at their training facility because I guess there is some either a drought going on or there's some problems with something doing with the water system or a drought or something like that. So Barcelona can't shower after training. Now they're being forced to take this long flight to come to Dallas to play a friendly right after just playing a game. There's just a lot of stuff going on with Barcelona right now. Obviously, they're renting out the Camp Nou. If you and your boys get together and you can bring enough money together, you can actually rent the Camp Nou to go play a friendly, to go get married there. There's talks of selling the grass that is used during Champions League games, selling it to fans to try to make some more money there. And I just don't know how we got to this point. I don't know how this all happened. I guess there was some corruption or some this or some that. Obviously, losing Messi for free was one of the massive reasons that kind of started all this, snowballed all this. But we also had some drama with PK before that. So Barcelona, I'm just hoping that they can figure something out. I mean, recently they've been surviving off of loans. Like, you look at Felix, you look at Cancelo, they've been surviving off of loans, trying to just piece together a team every year. Seems to be no consistency. Obviously, we're hoping that there's going to be some consistency with Gavi, with Pedri, but Barcelona just not in a good position right now. But regardless of how you're doing financially, I don't think that it's fair to these players to make them travel all the way out here. Now, given they are going to have an extended layoff after that friendly, I think they come back either the 3rd or the 4th of January. Now we've obviously got Christmas. Going to have a little bit of a break here. But making them do this, man, and especially to play a friendly on a Thursday, just play the friendly on a Friday. More people will probably come out to the stadium regardless because it's a Friday instead of a Thursday. Give the boys a day off to just go home, sleep after the game in your own house, not have to worry about going to the airport. Just very poorly run here by Barcelona. I don't know what they're doing, but I hope that they can figure it out because Barcelona, football, they're both synonymous. Football's better when Barcelona's better. So we're going to hope for the best here for Barcelona as well. Hope they figure it out. And I guess we'll keep an eye out on the friendly, see who plays. I know that the first team is going to go out there. Are they going to play? I don't know. And speaking of somebody who also isn't going to play, this is some more sad news we got Neymar will officially miss Copa America, obviously going through his struggles with his ACL. He shared a video on social media showing how painful it was. And obviously, I've never torn my ACL, but obviously it happens a lot in football. American football happens a lot in sports, period. One of the worst injuries that you can get. Speedy recovery to Neymar. All of our thoughts and prayers are with him during this time of recovery. However, Brazil have lost their last 3 games, and the game before that one, they tied against Venezuela. So Brazil's also going to have a lot to figure out here, especially knowing that they're going into the Copa America without Neymar. That Copa America here in the United States. Obviously, they're always one of the favorites, but with Neymar out, we'll see how this goes. And then we've got some MLS news as well. As last night, the MLS draft happened. You guys probably in the UK aren't familiar with the draft, but basically, guys coming out of college get drafted to a team. Very common in all of our other sports, the NBA, football, MLB even. You kind of play through college, and then after college, you get drafted to a team. So that's kind of the way in to all of these leagues, especially the NBA and the NFL, and we see it also in the MLS. And I want to give a shout out to Tyrese Spicer, who was taken number 1 by Toronto. Toronto, obviously, last year, the worst team in the MLS. So we're going to hope that they can figure it out. And Tyrese Spicer, I don't know if he's going to be going into their second team first or if he's going to fit right into the first team. Because obviously, Bernardeschi is on the way out of Toronto. He came out. He said that this was the wrong move for me. I should have never came to Toronto in the first place. I don't know what's going on with Insigne, but I think he's going to stay. So we're going to hope that Toronto can figure it all out. And then I also want to give 2 special shout-outs from last night in the MLS draft. The first being to Brendan McSorley, who got drafted to St. Louis FC. I went to high school with him. Super great guy, so shout out to him in starting his professional journey here. And then the second being to Aiden O'Connor, defender who was drafted by the New York Red Bulls. Obviously, I'm a Red Bull fan. Hoping to see him on the field soon. Hoping that he can help us out at the back. And then the biggest news coming out of the MLS. Last week or a couple of weeks ago, the MLS said that they no longer wanted to play in the U.S. Open Cup. The U.S. Open Cup, obviously the longest cup that has been running in U.S. soccer history, and the MLS wanted a way out. They said, we don't want to play this anymore. Obviously, last year we had the inaugural season for the in-season, not the in-season basketball, for the Leagues Cup, where obviously we play against teams from the Mexican League, and I guess they wanted to make that cup the main cup, no longer wanted to play in the U.S. Open Cup. They cited things such as lower attendance, even with the New York Red Bulls personally. Some of those games we don't even play in the stadium. We play at Montclair, which is a smaller college stadium. But I love the U.S. Open Cup. I feel like it's always something in the middle of the week that you can kind of push for, that you can get excited for. Even going to those smaller venues. Sometimes going to that smaller venue, you kind of are closer to the players. You get to see them a little bit up closer. The players usually come up to the stands afterwards and kind of talk to everybody. I feel like it's kind of a very cool environment, especially the way that the Red Bulls do. I can't speak for other teams, but there was a lot of backlash between all fans of every different team. Everybody wanted the U.S. Open Cup, and today, U.S. Soccer announced that MLS clubs will have to play in the U.S. Open Cup. And now let's switch gears. Let's cross over into the NBA. As last night, the NBA scriptwriters were working overtime last night. Let me tell you, Ja Morant, his first game back, and he absolutely lights up the game. 34 points, 8 assists, and 6 rebounds. He looked great. I mean, every move, every shot, it looked like he hadn't missed a beat after being out for 25 games. He's clearly been working during his time off. He's clearly still been grinding. There was a lot of talk of what Ja are we getting back? Is he going to be rusty? Is he going to be this? And absolutely none of that last night. I mean, this guy just looked amazing. At one point, the Grizzlies were down 30-something points, 34, I think it was, 32, something like that. Come all the way back. And it just had to be as Ja Morant hits the game winner. Then after the game, he's running back into the tunnel and he says, I keep receipts. So Ja Morant seems to be completely back. But somebody who wasn't happy for it was the Pelicans fans, as every time that Ja Morant touched the ball, he was getting absolutely booed by every single person in that stadium. What I cannot wait for is his return back to Memphis, which happens tomorrow. He plays at home against the Pacers. I can't wait for that environment. I'm assuming that there's going to be some sort of video or some sort of something. That place is going to be absolutely electric. For a season that has not been going well at all for them, they can use anything to cheer for. 6-19. Now they're already 7-19 with Ja Morant. So shout out to him. And just a little side note with the Pacers, Tyrese Halliburton going up against Ja. Is there going to be some mouthing? Is it going to get chippy? But first and foremost, Tyrese Halliburton, I hope that he gets back to the form that he was playing during the in-season tournament. He's been struggling a little bit. Maybe it's because the courts aren't as colorful. Maybe it's, I don't know what it is. But Tyrese Halliburton, hope he can get back to the form that he had in that in-season tournament. And then the other game in the NBA that was absolutely wild last night as well was the Warriors versus the Celtics, where Stephen Curry put the team on his back and went for 33 points in that overtime win versus the Celtics. Clay went for 24. Obviously, there's been a lot of talk. Not only is Draymond now out for an indefinite amount of time, but Clay, he obviously wants to get paid at the end of the year. Are the Warriors going to give him all the money that he wants? Is he going to go somewhere else? Could this be the last year of Clay and Steph together? Clay went for 24 points. The Celtics, Jason Tatum was a little bit off. I don't know what it was. He only dropped 15 points, a little bit underwhelming for him. But Derek White with 30 points, Jaylen Brown with 28. I still believe that the Celtics are one of the best, if not the best team in the NBA. I'm not worried about them whatsoever. But Steph Curry, nice to see sort of a vintage Steph come back last night. And that is all that we have for today. I'm going to leave you with the question of the day. Do you guys think that Brazil can be contenders in Copa America without Neymar? Again, seen the recent struggles, but can they figure something out? Will Vinny be back? We're all assuming so, but can Liverpool, can Brazil be contenders in the Copa America? Now, the slate of the night, what are we watching tonight? What should you keep your eyes out for? Liverpool. That's why I just said Liverpool. Liverpool versus West Ham. Obviously, we talked about it a little bit earlier. Quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup. By the time that you're watching this, game probably already happened or is about to happen. Again, I'm going down. I'm saying Liverpool is going to win. Roast me in the comments if I'm wrong and say I told you so if I was right. In the NBA, we've got Timberwolves, obviously one of the surprises of the season. First in the West right now against the 76ers, who are third in the East. Joel versus Cat. That should be a great game. Then we've got Clippers and Mavericks. Harden versus Kyrie. That's always good cinema to see there. In Florida, we've got the fight of the two Florida teams. We've got the Miami Heat, Orlando Magic. Orlando Magic, another big surprise here this season. Obviously, they're currently sitting in fourth. And then New York, we've got the New York rivalry between the Knicks and the Nets. There's a whole slate of NBA, so there's a lot more happening, but those are just the 4 games that I think are going to be the most interesting. In the NHL, we've got 3 games tonight. The Red Wings versus the Jets, the Islanders versus the Caps, Kraken versus the Kings. I appreciate all of you guys for watching. That has been December 20th. We will be back tomorrow. Football is back tomorrow, so you know we're talking about that. See you guys tomorrow. Peace.